like, you know, you mentioned a minute ago that the generals go for the ranks first, then the hard hats, then the soft hats. Well, Mr. Enzo yesterday, DFG Enzo, told me that they're working currently, on the rank ups, and they're busy right now. But we don't just go from the top. You know, we don't go for the highest ranks and rank them up quick. It's mixed. But you're saying different. And you know how you just said that you got to change that order. Mr. Enzo has to discuss it with you. Changing that order, even though you was the one who told me to go to. But am I seeing things, or is there someone over there? Oh, right, never mind. Sorry.
Uh,
Sorry. It just put me off.
yeah.
It put me off.
Don't worry, man. No, I didn't say we're doing the hard hats first. I said the gens, they did the hard hats first, but I told them that they should do a few soft hats as well. So they were focusing on the hard hats. I don't know why. Like Mr. Enzo said, we do that mix. We call you up randomly if you're online, and then we would conduct the interviews. But what happened to sandbags was just a misunderstanding, but that's okay. I just want to ask you a few questions. Just want to see how you answer them correctly. So just because I want to see how you understand everything on base. Do you know your rules? Do you know everything? So I'm just gonna start off. I'll put it in the chat, and then you will answer from there on. Do you copy?
Copy.
Okay, simple one, sir. Just basic.
Okay. So AFK stands for away from keyboard, right? Comes under RPA, which is a 5-minute kick, or comes under, abuse 2 for XP farming, or abuse 3 for being AFK whilst in the faction, which is extreme, non-compliance with rules, which is initially a 4,320-minute ban, 3-day ban for, if caught by an admin. So that's what AFK is. They're the three sanctions in regards to being AFK whilst in a faction. Okay, if I disagree, all right, if I'm given an order by a higher that I disagree with, then obviously I'm gonna have body cam on, right? And if it's some basically this is the way it works, is right. At the end of the day, you're there to follow orders, right? You don't stand there and give disrespect back just because you don't like the order, right? Like for example, go to Westgate if you're at Sandbags or you're at Southgate, whatever. Then you gotta do that. But if it's an order given that directly erodes, the one state rules, meaning that breaks the one state rules, then obviously I'm going to disagree with that, right? Just like anyone else. And again, I'm going to have body cam on, and I'm going to discreetly ask a supervisor, the ones I'm comfortable with, which is the LTGs and the CGs. I'm going to ask them to, mediate, and supervise, what's going on. And then, if they feel that, the order given is, questionable, then they step in accordance with chain of command and deal with that there and then. But it's not my place to stand there and say, well, I disagree with it and start being disrespectful. I just get a supervisor involved, simple as that, and hand over body cam and let the higher ups deal with it there and then. That's just how it goes. Now, yesterday, you might have heard stuff, but I was drunk, respectfully, NRP, non metagaming. I had 9 bottles of Corona, I had 10 pints of Guinness, and a full bottle of Cavassier. And even though I was at Westgate, I was hella respectful, like, for being full on wasted. Like everyone was laughing because I was wasted. I was respectful. Didn't come out with anything inappropriate, and I was respectful because I reviewed the body cam. My body cam picks up my own voice, so I've listened to a 2-hour body cam, and I was respectful the whole time. I skipped through all. Sorry, go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to go overboard. Right. So if a soldier right, let me turn this radio off a second. All right. So the question is, how would you react if another soldier disrespects you in any way that you can think of? Okay. So this is the initial. approach. If a soldier disrespects me, I'm not the type that's gonna run to a supervisor. I always think that we can deal with that there and then ourselves, right? Just try to de-escalate the situation, come to a compromise, kind of understand why they are acting the way they are without getting in their business. Like, hey man, what's going on today? You seem kind of like, excuse my language, but you seem pissed off, right? So look, I know it's probably not aimed at me. So just tell me what's going on, man. What's up, and get to the basics of the story of why they're pissed off in general. Try to help them. If I can't help them, I get a supervisor involved. Even if they can't help them, I just leave them alone. Simple as that. But I'm not the type that's going to stand there and disrespect them back. What is this, like a game of disrespect? No. One, just because someone does wrong to you doesn't mean that you stoop to their level and do the same shit. So, again, if it's disrespect, then I'm going to address that by trying to mediate and de-escalate the situation. Because at the end of the day, we've all got to get on with each other, right? And I've done that multiple times in the last few days. You don't know how much disrespect goes on at Westgate that myself and Josh and Cookie have to, kind of be, the supervisors. We have to be our own supervisors for the soft hats. That's not power tripping, but I've been doing that. So, if it's serious, disrespect though, then obviously, like serious, where it's breaking one state rules, like say chat 1, chat 2, chat 3, chat 15, whatever, then, I hand that body cam over, but I'm not going to stand there and argue with the individual. So, yeah, that's how I treat disrespect, not to argue back. Try and get to the root cause of the problem, address it, mediate, de escalate. If I can, I'll go to the supervisor, the body cam. Simple as that. Okay, and then right. So look, sometimes like sometimes when I'm giving a correction from a superior, I think, hang on a minute, in my head, not out loud. I think in my head, hang on a minute, is that right or is that wrong? And then, just like before, this answer directly goes to before with Enzo and yourself. So that's why when Mr. Enzo was kind of like being stern, he wasn't being disrespectful, but he was being stern, like word for word. Hey, Sir MVP, wasn't you given an order by Sir General Max to go to Westgate? Yes, sir. Okay, then why are you not there now? So then I explain. So do you see what I mean? That's kind of a correction from a superior in orders. So I explained that you was the one that directed me to sandbags. If you would like, sir, I would get Mr. Draco to confirm this. Let me just run to sandbags. Give me 1 second, sir. And sandbag, I mean Southgate, he wasn't there. So anyway, to answer the question, constructive criticism from a superior. I'm gonna have to take it no matter what. Okay, it doesn't matter if I like it or if I don't like it. I've still got to follow the order. If it's something that breaks one state rules, then yes, I'm gonna have body cam and I'm gonna send that to someone over that supervisor. Meaning, if it's an MG, it goes to an LTG. If it's an LTG, it goes to a CG, and on and on. Kind of thing. You don't really get that from DFGs or chiefs, so there's no reason to for a soldier of my rank and standing to go over DFG, because there's a reason, your position is not a rank, it's a role, and a leadership, which is like even higher than a rank, so to speak. So, there's a reason you've got that suit in the first place. NRP when it comes to the Angels. So yeah. Anyway, go on, moving on. Sorry, I went off topic here. If I was reprimanded or demoted, how would you react to it? Okay, well, firstly, you'd understand why I was reprimanded or demoted. There's always reasons. You can't just like respectfully. DFGs and FG won't just reprimand or demote someone for no reason, right? There has to be a reason behind it. If there's disrespect, then that's Army Rule 1. I've been looking at them, but I can't remember what disrespectful conduct is. I
Yeah,
think it's Army Rule 1.
it's
Right,
one.
okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So say for a minute it's Army 1, right, and I get a reprimand. I'm not gonna, excuse my language, I'm not gonna sit there and bitch about it, alright? I'm a grown ass man, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna think to myself, well, let's say use Goodman for example. Say, okay, so yeah, I did disrespect him. I did call him out and call him a punk this and a punk that. So yeah, I did get an RB1 reprimand. Only takes 7 days for it to wear off, and then I know not to, come out with shit like that. And then I'm probably gonna, most probably after a few days, apologize to Mr. Goodman after he's cooled down. There's no point sitting there now. I ain't gonna mean shit to him. You have to leave him a few days to cool down. So yeah, I'm gonna take that like a man, that reprimand, and just say we're off. Simple as that. If I was demoted, again, there's always a reason for it. Then I'd understand. Okay, I think right. That just motivate me even harder to go get back in that position. I'd have like fucking 4 times. Excuse my language again. It's a habit. I'd have like 4 times the EXP required, to get the attention of leadership, where they think, well, hey, he's got 4 times the rank. He's been doing this. He's been doing that. He hasn't broken the army rules. He hasn't been given any laps. He hasn't been off base. So let's talk about him in the next what do you call it, rank evaluation. So yeah, so that's how I handle that. Okay, if you abuse of power. Okay, so there's a fine line between being stern and having abuse of power. I'll give you an example of it. A long time ago, NRP, I was in army. I did retire after this actually. I was at Westgate. I was told to go to sandbags because there was no one there by a general. I didn't go to sandbags, and then another general from Southgate told me to go back to Westgate. I didn't go back to Westgate. On the way back down to Westgate, the general who originally ordered me to sandbag said, "What are you doing here? You're doing 20 laps. I just told you to go sandbags. That's the direct. It's either do these laps or you're getting 2 Army 6s for refusing my orders and refusing to do the laps." So I done the laps. And then the other soldier turned around and said, the one at Southgate, "Didn't I just tell you to go to Westgate? What are you doing running around the base for? I'm doing laps. I don't care if you're doing laps. What are you running around? Sir, I was given laps by another general because at first I was told to go to sandbags and you told me to go to Westgate. And then on the way back to Westgate, the general told me to, what are you doing there? And now I've got to do laps. And he said, I don't care about any of that. I said, I've got body cam to prove it. I don't care about any of that. Right now, I'm going to be recommending a reprimand. And then they fired me. So yeah, that's abuse of power. Again, abuse. There's a fine line between being stern, like Sir Enzo was before. He wasn't being disrespectful. He was being stern. Okay, he was that's the role. If you're not stern with soldiers, then they'll just do whatever the fuck they want when they want, and that's what you want to avoid. You want structure, you want discipline, just like is what's expected in the faction. So as long as there's no like overly like do this and do that now and do this now and do that now. As long as there's none of that, then it's fine. Even if they kind of come across a little bit disrespectful, it's not their intention. It's in accordance with their rank. Like, okay, Mr. MVP, I understand you're at Southgate. I need you at Sandbags now, or I need you at Westgate now. Okay, I'm not going to take that as disrespect. I'm going to take that as an order, a lawful order, without being toxic or insulting me. Okay, so there's a fine line between abuse of power, being stern, and abuse of power. But I know the difference. All right, I know the difference. Five core rules is respect, no AFK, always follow chain of command. I'm trying to think of the last two. Permission and no shooting or tasing soldiers. I forget which order, and I've got the macro here. Hang on, let me get it at the bottom. 1 sec.
Yeah, as long as you have the macro, it's good. You only got one wrong. Chain of commands, you just did. The last one you must was actually be active. So chain of commands is not part of that, but it's also, part of the rules, but it's not in the five core rules. But yeah, you got four of them at least. But as long as you have the macro, that's good as well. We need you to have the macro. Just throw it up for me real quick.
Yeah, I've got it as a normal. Like I took the slash me and the slash Flavio out because I've got a little bit extra on it.
Ten
See,
four. Suggest you put a me in front so that it's easily visible for anybody you're trying to show it to. But let's continue, sir.
okay. Okay, what's the first step dealing with any toxic or inappropriate situation on base? Okay, so initially, if something comes up where it's considered toxic or inappropriate on base, I'm gonna respectfully, ask them to stop. Okay, I'm gonna, let them know that, we do feel some type of way from this behavior.
Okay, just hang on there. Hang on. So it's actually, I understand, but it is the right approach. But the first step, just to be cautious, always put on your body cam. That's the first step. And then you approach the situation. You never know what it could pan out to become. It could always become a worse situation where they start blaming you for like anything and they've got body cam. 10 for so yeah, the only ads I actually wanted is body cam. That's what I needed. So I stopped you because I do definitely recognize you do know how to deal with the situation appropriately, but in all cases, it's always best just to have body cam, so that in case it does. Nah, but I needed that answer first. That's why I stopped you, because I need to um, just I do this with all the soldiers. I need to let them understand how important body cam is, that even though the soldier might have disrespected you IRL, which is also a great offense, that will be Army 8. It will become one of the server rules that they started breaking. So even if they do that, what I just want to see, do you want to, are you tired of this questionnaire, sir?
No, no, definitely not. I'm just worried that you're doing this questionnaire to see if I still should be allowed on deserve to be on base. I really want to stay here, man. Okay,
10
I
4.
really want to stay here. Don't kick me out, bro.
If you were given a position of leadership, sir, say a hard hat, how would you guide and lead any soft hats?
Oh. Okay, so I've already been doing this, right? So when it comes to, I'll give you an example. We've been doing X formations, to show strength at the watches, not the watches, the gates. Sorry. I do come up with ideas, especially for same ranks as myself and lower ranks. Um, I do try and direct them in you know the right approach when it comes to things. I'll give you an example. Um, soldiers kind of like to are a little bit trigger happy sometimes. Throw the macros, and no matter if they're leaving or not, they still kill them. So I took a different approach. Me and Mr. Josh, I mainly led it. And we just told them to use their macros, okay, all three, and then you're going to tase them, right? You're going to use prohibit, then you're going to use first, second, third warning, and then you can tell them again, leave the area now, sir. You had a weapon out, you're being hostile. Please leave the area first, and final warning. Do you understand? And then they take their gun out, and then you're going to tase them. And then when they get back up, if you don't get back in their car, and and they take their gun out, then yeah, they're going to get shot down. Okay. But anyway,
Um,
yes.
I was I needed to know how you're gonna lead and guide software. It's not deal with civilians, my brother.
All right, all right, all right, all right. So the best approach to guide is to always make sure that the soldiers know the five court rules. Okay, just always kind of respect each other, get to know each other. Okay, and then just mentor them in a way. If they're stressed out or anything like that, then I mediate the situation. I try and boost morale by within the soft hats by coming up with suggestions, like formations, or coming up with little mini trainings that we can do ourselves at HP on free time, which I've actually organized one or two of them for the soft hats. We didn't need to put in five because it was on free time, right? So we went to HB and we organized a few of those, which was pretty fun. We had a few tag goals. We had a few musical chairs as well. So if you may or may not know this. Oh fuck! Sorry. Let me just there's 10-4. You may or may not know this. Everyone knows my voice now with the soft hats, like everyone. And I get on with everyone, like especially soft hats. When anybody see me, like, hey, what's up, man? How's your morning? I'm like, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Good morning, good evening, good night, whatever. And when it comes to civilians coming up, they kind of let me deal with it because they know that I know how to handle the situation. And we get on really well. So, they do kind of see me as a leader. I've even heard it from Tay and I've heard it from Josh that, they kind of learned from me when it came to shooting, to, handling situations, maintaining professionalism and not letting anyone take you out of your character. So there is a few people that actually do look up to me, in regards to, being like leadership within the soft hats. So yeah, that's kind of my take and approach. Now, I can't come up with an actual plan and tell you because I actually don't know, the leadership style that you guys have because I'm not in leadership, right? But yeah, that's the approach to the question you was asking.
For a very short and sweet answer would be by leading by example. You following your rules, doing what you're supposed to do, and then they would definitely follow in your footsteps. Once they become hardheads, they would know that's the example of being a hardhead. Do you copy, Mr. MVP?
I copy, sir. I did say all that, but in a long ass sentence.
Yeah, I just said short and sweet. Listen, one more thing, sir. Are you on the faction server?
I am. I tagged Sorenzo, MVP Raw. I'm on there already.
So you have your role already?
Yes, sir. Like, I'll tag you. I'll go ahead and sign out my main Discord, but I can go on my alt one, and I do not regularly check it.
No, sir, it's no need to. Um, just hang on real quick. So, listen, based on the evidence I got yesterday and the answers you're giving me right now, I don't understand what happened then yesterday. So I will send you I asked for your Discord, so I will easily find you on the faction server. And I will send you the evidence so that you can just observe and see what you will be getting reprimanded for. I unfortunately will be giving you 2 reprimands, sir, for your conduct.
What?